This is Breighlynn Polk interviewing MarQKieta Augustine for the HBCU Radio Preservation Project. It is currently 2:41 p.m. on April 18th, 2024. This interview is being recorded at the WRVS radio station in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. So can you first start off by telling me your full name and your role at the WRVS radio station?
Of course, I am MarQKieta Augustine. I am a radio hostess here at the station.
Perfect. And do you have a particular show that you are a host of at the radio station?
I host the Evening Vibes every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock here at the station.
Thank you. So first we're going to start off by going into your childhood before you came here to Elizabeth City State University. How would you describe the place that you grew up? You can tell me where you grew up and your family structure.
So I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I would say my family is very family oriented. Like, we're always together, and just throughout childhood with like school and just different organizations that I am a part of and was a part of, it always been family oriented, especially like with school. It was a small Catholic school I went to, so therefore it was small and just family oriented. So I would definitely say being able to be close with each other and just being connected with one another is something that was like a big part of my childhood.
And can you describe your family structure for me?
We call each other, for my family, I'm an only child, so we call each other the circle. So it's like, if we're good, everybody good. If somebody else is bad or they start on the rocks, we're able to, we got to get them together. So we very linked in. And I look at my parents like my brother and sister, but I know that limit. But yeah, I know how to respect them, and I'm just thankful and blessed to have a good family home.
And what are your parents' names?
Breighlynn and Sandra Augustine.
Okay. And what did they do for a living as you were coming up?
So my mom was a pharmacist, and she has her license, and she still is an up-to-date pharmacist. My dad is a truck driver. So we're a travel family, and also if you're sick, we got you family. So that's what I grew up around.
And when were you born?
I was born October 9th, 2002.
Okay. And did you have any memories of like what your childhood was like growing up as an only child?
I would say I always found myself either entertaining my toys, like my dolls, teaching my dolls my homework. I would say playing and just singing out loud in the kitchen when I get frustrated because I don't have nobody else to sing, just bothering them for no random reason. So I don't have no storytelling memories. I just know it's a lot of random concerts and just a lot of teaching my pets. I had a dog. I was teaching the dog. The dog was looking at me crazy. So that's me right there with family and childhood.
Did you have any like people around your age, cousins or friends?
Of course, my older cousins always said if I need anything, they got me. They are literally like my brothers. One call away, they're on their way from the country, which is where my dad is from. He's from Marksville, Louisiana. So they're just one call away. That hour drive, they're there. So that was real. I'm lucky to have that. And also like my little cousins, the girls, we were very close. Like at one point we were making like a fake little singing group, and we would just sing like old songs, and yeah.
So you said that you went to a Catholic school. Was that throughout your entire childhood, or?
I wouldn't say it's throughout my entire childhood. I would say I went to St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, and I also went to the school. Then I kind of jumped around until I would say my middle school year, and then in high school I went to a charter school my high school year.
So is your family religious as far as like Catholicism being?
I would say they're religious, but they really let me explore my own freedom. For me, I don't see myself as religious per se. I see myself as spiritual. Because I always have different questions when it comes down to religion. So I don't want to say, yeah, we're religious, but I feel like people push the barriers of what religion is and what it looks like. Because I could be religious, but your religion, and we worship the same God, but it just looks different. So that's why I just say I'm spiritual and call it a day.
Understandable. So as a kid, do you have any type of memories with radio or music at all?
I have any. Well, yes, I do. We always, at our school, I went to mentorships STEM Academy. We always had Miss Latangela there, and she's a part of Max 94.1 is at home station. And I just remember her energy and just how she has that stage present whenever she comes to the school and just be talking to us and just entertain us and be a good host. So that's kind of what kind of sparked my interest in mass communications and being a radio show hostess.
So it was important for you to see a black woman in radio as a kid?
It was like, because it's like you hear it, you growing up with the same stations. This is the station you ride to school with. This is the station you get picked up. Like, we know the whole catalog. So it's just like, oh, you get to see the voice behind it. And then she just telling us all these good things about it. And it was like, oh, okay, this might be something I could do. And then I got here and I had the opportunity to do it.
And what kind of music did Max 94.1 play?
So they played like gospel in the morning. Then they had hip hop and smooth R&B, hip hop. It just changed up, just sort of like how we had here 3 years back. We had that where we switch up every hour or every couple of so hours where the genres switch up.
And what did you find more appealing in that setup? Like, what genre of music was your favorite?
Well, for me, I feel like I'm an old school and R&B type of girl, but I also like my hip hop music, so I would say somewhere in between then. But I also like to listen to my jazz music whenever I just want like a cooling sense of mind.
Okay. So you said that you are from the Baton Rouge area. Was there anything particular that made Elizabeth City kind of appealing to you to want to come here?
I would say for me coming in, it was very much so organized, and I could tell it was family oriented because I came in with the year of COVID, so everybody was virtual. So I did my tour virtual. And we went through the tour, and they knew where to go for my business classes. They knew where to go for my aviation classes or how to navigate me to that. So I was like, okay, this is structured. I like it. They seem like they know each other because they're conversating with each other, so they know what they're doing. And I came to orientation, and boop, voila, family oriented. Everybody's know each other. It's not too big, but it's big enough. So I feel like I belonged here.
And you didn't think it was too far from home for you to come?
I like to travel, so it's okay. Like, I'm over here trying to find me an internship out of state, so I don't have to go home because I don't want to be in that environment. I feel like I'm really growing, so I want to just go out to different states and see how that experience is.
So let's take it back a little bit. You mentioned the environment. You were born and raised in Baton Rouge, right? Mm-hmm. So can you explain kind of what that community was like?
In short term, I could say it feels like, everybody knows everybody. Baton Rouge is a big area. Well, Louisiana itself is a seem-wide big state, maybe small state if you look at it. And it just seemed like everybody knows everybody. And whenever you get that opportunity to move away and you come back, you feel a little stagnant, and you just watch everybody do the same thing, same story. Left, came back, not doing anything, and I don't want to fall into that cycle. So that's why I'm kind of on me about and very adamant about I need to go somewhere else. I need to find something that I could do that's going to help me grow. I don't want to be stuck in that same loophole that I didn't see other people get caught by.
Absolutely. So in Baton Rouge, what did your community look like? What were the demographics of the area that you were brought up in?
I feel like I lived in a very urban-ish area. I didn't notice that we had white people in our neighborhood until I turned roughly like 16, because we'll always be outside playing on the basketball court. We'll be at the Breighlynn like park area at the back. Had tennis class growing up. I used to play tennis there. I would just say my community in itself, because I lived in Mayfair, it was a good community overall. We didn't have nothing crazy going on per se like everywhere else, but it was a fairly decent place to live.
So I know you said your dad was a truck driver, your mom was a pharmacist. With other people around that area that you said Mayfair, what were the type of jobs that people held in that area? Do you know?
I really don't know specifics. I know that we might have a couple of government people living there. We might have people that work at like McDonald's, people that work at the mall, people that work at like the hospitals. It was just very a mixed group. I would say I wouldn't the areas that I have been in, I don't say you can't tell who lives there. Everybody kind of has the same type of setup. Maybe somebody's setup is a little bit more fancier, but it's kind of the same thing.
And you said it was a majority African Americans that lived in that
Yeah, I
area?
would say it's definitely majority African Americans because I remember we are always outside. Like I grew up with people. I see the people that's outside. Like I distinctly remember kids being outside until I turned like 19. We don't come outside no more.
It might be because of like social media and things. People are staying
Yeah,
indoors.
social media, and then everybody kind of just texts each other already, and then they just come in that way. There's no, I'm just staying outside and waiting to see who comes out. Yeah, no, they're not doing that no more.
So I know you came here for school, but I know Baton Rouge also has some notable universities there. There's HBCU there, Southern University, and there's LSU. Was there a reason why you decided to not go to one of those schools?
Well, my best friend goes to LSU, and for me, with what he goes to with that school, I wouldn't go there. It's a little too big for me, and for me, I always wanted to go to HBCU. Southern was definitely an option. I always tell people that I try to bring certain aspects and cultures from that here and just, try to get our students a little bit more engaged. But I always say Southern, that's where my soul is. That's what I grew up around. Like every year for their homecoming, we go to the parade because it's like clearly like days away from my birthday or a day before my birthday. So that's what I know. And I just try to bring that here, but my soul is there and my heart is here. That's how I always say it.
Absolutely. So what would you say about the culture, some things that you bring from, being around Southern's campus or being in Baton Rouge here to Elizabeth City? I know they're both, HBCUs, but what do you find that you bring here that's a little bit more significant?
So for me, I just finished running for Miss ECSU, and my platform was kind of different than what is the normal here. And so I feel like that kind of went over our students' heads in that sense, because when they campaign, you're campaigning for about 2,000 plus, actually way more than that, like in the hundred thousands plus. So I'm used to seeing people bring food trucks, like go out with their tables, stick to the theme because the theme is based off of their like personality and what they're running for. And I tried to bring that here. I don't think it got received that well, but I feel better that I left that tent on the campus, and I just hope that I could try to start implementing certain things before I leave, that our campus could feel just a little bit more home-ish and culture-ish, because we already have a lot of Viking pride here. It just needs to get amped up to the next level.
I'm we'll talk about that a little bit more, about your platform in a moment. Thank you. So, was there anything in high school? I know you said that you had a mentorship with the radio hosts at the radio station that you listened to in Baton Rouge, but was there any club involvement or organization involvement that you had that made you want to pursue a radio or anything?
No, I would just say that I always find myself doing a lot of different things, whether that's graphic design, learning about playing things, designing clothes, talking to people, interviewing people. I just found myself doing a lot of different artsy things that I feel that just attracted me more to being in a radio station.
Got you. So I know that you are a student on air personality for the radio show. What exactly are you going to school for here at Elizabeth City State?
So I am an aviation science major, and my concentration is in management. Funny story, I picked this major because I was in JRTC and we were talking about robots stealing jobs. So I picked the aviation industry after my first flight, and ever since then I've been rocking with it.
So can you tell me a little bit more about what it entails to be a student with the aviation major?
Mm-hmm. Well, here at Elizabeth City, like even if you're a flight major or a drone person, which is called unmanned, you will get those management classes just so you could have something to fall back on. For me, that's kind of on my focus. That's either airport planning, learning different regulations, just being an ambassador for the university, knowing how to talk, because that's setting you up as a manager, because you know how to manage those type of things. But I would say it's been a good experience thus far.
Do you feel that there is a lot of representation from African Americans in that field?
No, from my knowledge, I feel like it's only 4% of African American women in the aviation industry, which is something that really kind of pushed me and just makes me want to be like, okay, I want to go here, just so I wanted to become a person that can speak to girls that look like me. So I feel like that push and what I'm doing is history. It might be a small piece of it, but it's another part, because that 4% in me getting in that industry will now make it 5%. Or if it goes up, that's another, on top of that. But I definitely feel like we need more people in that industry, and just industries across the board that I know our representation is lacking of.
Thank you. So you come to the radio station as a volunteer, and you're not within, I guess, the educational program for like digital media and things like that. Can you tell me if there were any challenges that you faced when you started with the radio?
I would say that one challenge is timing, and just making sure I have time to actually stay committed to something I wanted to volunteer for, because I like giving back to the people that I can. I love community service. So not only that we do hosting, yes, but we also do a lot of community service based events, such as like Border Clash or the Back to School Drive, are some of the big ones that we have here at the radio station. So just trying to figure out my timing of being committed to something. That's just the big one.
And what was it that stood out to you specifically about WRVS that made you want to be involved as an aviation student?
So I wouldn't say WRVS made me want to be involved as an aviation student, because I came in knowing that already. But I would say just how Mr. Clay, he's just he got you. Like, it was family. If it's no family nowhere else, it's gonna be family in here. So he was just very open and very hands-on with teaching us the board. So I know how to work a board now. I know how to work the systems at the basketball court for the projector, the dextrostrine screen. I know how to do that now. So that's like different things that he's been teaching us how to do. I know how to do an air check. So he just really poured in his wisdom and stuff with us, and it don't be forced. It's very genuine. And even though we have to stay on him, but I feel like he do that just to push us, to make sure, if there's something you want, you need to work to get it. So I just feel like that push and just being genuine with us as students and understanding us and just talking to us on a mental level really stood out to me. And that's what it kept me so long here.
So as a student, prior to you being involved with the radio station here, were you listening to the radio at all, the station?
No, I'm pretty sure I'm amongst my peers when I say I plug up my phone and I turn on my Apple Music, or sometimes I just go on the road and I don't listen to music at all. But my freshman year, when I was interested, I started listening to the station, and I just started listening to it constantly. Like, I'll play it in the morning, so I know every morning it'll be our gospel music, our sunshine station. I knew that in the afternoon it would be evening vibes, cool tone type of music. I knew that later on at night, after like 9 or 8, it would be hip hop. So I kind of learned the flow of it before I fully committed to it, and I think that's kind of what helped me out.
Yeah. So now that you are, working for the station, is, like you said, your peers probably don't listen to it as much because of streaming and everything. Mm-hmm. But is it something that you promote on campus for more people
I
to
do,
listen?
and I have a good support system as a friends because they'll listen, especially when we start doing different giveaways and stuff. Because I make sure I be like, y'all tap in, y'all better tune in because I'm coming with a giveaway. I don't know when it's gonna be. I know what it is, but I don't typically tell them because I like them to, find out when it's on air just to see if they actually did get on air and listen to it.
Perfect. So seems like HBCU culture is very important to you, and also you grew up seeing Black women in radio. So kind of combining those two, how would you describe the importance of HBCU radio?
I would say it gives us as students a voice and a foot in the door into an industry that is a little bit scarce to get into because it's so tight knit. But it also is a outlet for us to speak on different things that is going on with different HBCUs around the world, or just any issues that you are having on campus. Even though it is probably for the community, and the community is not just your on campus community, it's your surrounding community, like we are here. That information you saying, oh, such and such is happening here, and we need your help, family, on the radio, and that connection can be made easily because they'll call the station or they'll just know your handle to get to you. But as a HBCU student, I just feel like we need to start opening those platforms more and actually just being consistent. And if this is something you want to do long term, just building that branding up.
Absolutely. And I know you said that there's certain issues that are mentioned on these stations. As far as your knowledge is concerned, what type of issues, whether political or anything like that, do you remember that this station particularly covering?
I remember that our station, we had covered the march when we had went march to polls. I can't quite remember what time it was. I just remember it because Mr. Clay asked for one of us to be here to cover it.
Mm-hmm. And how important are those types of issues to you to have, publicized through WRVS?
I would say I put it amongst the highest because it's a communication. It's just communication. You just setting that up out there and just letting it be known to people so people can be aware. Now, how do the people react? That's on them. But you're letting that emotion be known so something can happen. And I always say, you never know until you try. You might have to try a couple of times, but hey, you try it. If it can happen, it can happen. If it can't, it can't. And you just gonna have to go about it however it sees fit.
And how would you describe the community that this station serves as far as getting those particular messages out, as far as like the demographic or just their audience?
I would say our community, especially like our WRVS families that are of our ethnicity, they are very supportive. I see they come out and they always support at anything. It could be any event, they're there. Also, I see a lot of the schools they support, like they letting their kids come when we do border clash, and they are very comfortable and stuff with us. So I just feel like we made us a good community here to where they know that we have y'all, like y'all are safe here, everything is good here.
So I know you mentioned Mr. Mercer being playing a pivotal role within your training process. And can you explain again how that training process was, being that you were an aviation student? Were you intimidated at all by learning, something that's completely new to you, or?
I wasn't intimidated. So the process basically we came in, it was okay, I see y'all. Let me tell you about the station. Da da da. We learned everything about the station. Then it was like, okay, we straight behind the board. This is this button. This go here. This is how you play with this. You can move this like that. So we just that first couple of 2 weeks we just was straight on the board. Then later on, I would say about like week 4 or 5, we started doing air checks. So talking on the radio during his show, we'll pop up in there and just say one of the ad lines or one of the reminders that we need to remind somebody on air during our time. And then after that, we waited a little minute, and then he was like, okay, well, this is the positions, because we have people that cover the games. We have hostess for like regular shows. We have people that covers any like away activity. So we have media people for almost everything. So it was like, this is the positions that open. This is what I think is going to best suit everyone, and y'all can pick amongst yourselves. And I have my own show, so.
So can you kind of, I know that you said you host on, is it Wednesdays?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means that you have like a student ran segment for that particular show.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of describe what your format is for your section of that show?
So I'm still in the beginner stages of getting really comfortable by myself. Well, I'm already comfortable being in there, but I'm talking about being more comfortable as in talking to the community, like taking phone calls and anything. So I try to always start off with saying, hello, it's the middle of the week. We're going to relax. We're going to wind down because we normally play R&B music anyway. We're going to wind down and let's just take some time. And then I always just try to joke around about the different songs that's coming up. Or if it's like a catchy line that I could flip into something else at the end of the song, I'll get on air and say that and just be like, have a good day and whatever, what have you. That's just how I kind of run my little show over here.
And how long have you been with the station?
I have been with the station all 3 of my years, going on my 4th year at the university.
Okay, so you're a junior here now. That's beautiful. So as far as the music, how do you decide, or like how much prep time do you take to decide, okay, this is going to be what I either play today, or do you have to take like some preparation time to get ready for the show on Wednesdays?
The preparation things that I would say I have to do is just make sure that I have good popping talking points. For us, all our music is already kind of pre-programmed and listed at a different time. However, we are able to change it around if we kind of want it to fit a certain type of vibe that night. I do it randomly sometimes, or I just do like a next like 3 songs, like mini DJ, that's what I call it, and just have it like that. Or that's if I want to really play around that day. But if I don't, I just let it play through, and sometimes it be some hits, sometimes it be a little miss with the lineup that's going on. But other than that, the songs are normally just good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was able to listen to the station a couple times today, and y'all do play very good music. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so let's see. How do you think, if any changes have been made throughout your duration here, can you kind of speak to any of those changes that you've seen so far? Have you heard of anything?
I haven't seen any changes. I'll just say it's been a shift in our culture here as a university. Some things that I would like for us to implement back is actually having like the station play in the cab. Not in the cab. Well, in the cab too, because we play music in there, but also in like the student center. But I get that sometimes students don't want to listen to R&B music all the time, and that's our niche because we're the best in R&B. But other than that, I feel like the support is always here from the students whenever we do have stuff, and I feel like we have a good support system as a community too.
Absolutely. So what are some of the lessons that you've learned while working at not only a radio station, but an HBCU radio station as a student?
I learned that you have to observe people to learn how to talk to them, and you have to observe them even more to know how to work with them. It has helped me not be so nervous anymore to talk in front of people, or just to pop up out of the blue and say, hey, I'm such and such as blah blah blase. That's also a good pivotal point that it has taught me. And I would just say, just learning all the different ins and outs of the radio station. It's so much that goes on, and just learning. I know how to do board work. That's something I could do for a long time career, or I know how to cut music now. Didn't know I knew how to do that until just recently. But I know how to do it now. So things like that, just teaching me life skills, teaching me things that's going to help me be able to stay in a job if I don't get into the industry that I want to get into. And just knowing how to talk to people and knowing how to observe people.
And I know you said some of those life skills. What type of skills are you planning to take away from this experience in radio to bring in other career sectors? Like you said, it is different from aviation, but what type of skills are you able to kind of like cross over into those other ventures?
Communicating on, I would say the first one be communicating on the radio. That's very important, especially with towers or operations. You have to have your radio walkie to communicate with them efficiently and fast. I would also say just people skills and being able to be a person that always like doing community service. This radio station has always did community service. So me coming in, I already like doing it. It just makes me do it a little bit more, so I could keep that when I part away from this radio station.
And speaking on the community, what makes this HBCU community special compared to other HBCU communities that you've experienced, like Southern?
I would say our community, even though Southern community is also an open community, it's big. So yeah, you might know everybody there, but you don't know everybody. But our campus community is an open campus, and we're literally open from all pivotal points around campus. So where we could see the same family. Well, I'm gonna start off by saying Elizabeth City in itself is small. So everybody that you see on this campus, I guarantee you, if you go to Walmart, you're gonna see somebody there. Or if you go to the gym like I do, I go to Planet Fitness, I run into some of those same faces that's in this community when I go to Ross, or if I go to Food Lion, I'll see some of those same faces. So I would just say this campus is small enough to you will know somebody and big enough to network with.
And how has your impression of HBCUs either changed or improved since you've been working here at the station as well as being a student?
I would say that it's been a little bit rocky. It's a lot of different things that goes into different HBCUs and factors that they do have that plays into their success and not being successful. But here I would say that the culture hasn't changed, just the engagement has, which is a big point. So I feel like we're at a point where we're just trying to find out how can we engage the students more, and also how can we bring the students to be out with the other community that's around this community. I feel like those are the main things.
And you said that y'all are thinking about some ways for engagement. Is there anything that has come to mind as far as what can possibly be implemented?
One thing I have put a little word and a little bug in on my side, just personally with my other organizations, not so much the radio station just yet, because I don't know how big it can be, is partnership with Food Lion and going with their connection and helping out their elderly home with dementia and stuff, so we can get to see some of that. So that's community service, also connecting you with the community, because I know some of those people that has dementia, they have some great stories. You don't know what some of these people has been through, and that's some good points for our students. And sometimes you'll help them also realize that, just be a little thankful, and also just help them have something to do that's actually beneficial and that's going to make somebody happy.
Absolutely. So do you believe that, going back to radio a little bit, as far as a radio worker, how would you define Black radio being able to, not only serve the community, but put out communications to the community about certain issues?
I feel like that's a very powerful thing to have. I know that in the past we weren't granted those opportunities to have voices in certain masses, but being a Black radio station and just being able to spread the word, not even only to our students, but the actual community here, I feel like that reaches volumes, because it's history. It's just history in the making, and itself. I don't think people really realize that back in the days, it was so hard for African American people just to be able to say, hey, without being criticized. But now we're opening doors, and they're having rooms, and we're having seats at the tables that's meant for us to talk at. And so I just feel like it's giving a wide spectrum, not only to just the radio industry, but also like the world and all of those other industries too.
And what does it mean for you to be a part of that legacy of being in Black radio, especially at a HBCU campus?
It means being able to make something happen. I don't know what my calling is specifically, but I know that I'm here and I have a hand in making something happen and just being able to see something come true or help those that need something to come true.
So, what type of opportunities do you think that HBCU radio stations grant underrepresented communities that may not happen in like commercial radio stations?
I feel like we do a good job of making sure that our kids and stuff are set for the year. Every year we have a back to school event and they can get their haircuts done for free, have some food. I seen a lady this past semester. She had like she was giving out the girls barrettes and stuff for school, and just setting them up so they know where to find those resources at that they might not can find, or those hard to reach resources. And I just think that right there can change somebody's life in an instant, so they can have that connect.
Absolutely. So I know that you said that you came to the campus during the COVID area. I know you said back to school and everything, but was there any type of outreach that the station was doing during COVID?
I don't know per se. I came in fall 2021, so that was like right when everything got lifted. So I don't know what they have did. I just know that they have covered some things regarding stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you said, okay, so fall 2021, that's kind of in the height of like the Black Lives Matter protests and everything like that. Do you know of any type of communications that were going through the airways from the station at that time, or what the political climate was on campus that may have?
I know for our campus, we had a little people was in the uproar a little bit. I vividly remember the station was covering the march that they had downtown. Because me and my friends, we literally was listening to it in the car, and then we hopped out and we were sitting outside the restaurant and we heard the march that the radio station just was talking about, which was really funny, but also really cool. It was like, oh, okay, this is real. We just heard about this. Mm-hmm.
Now, what side of the march were they on? Were they advocating for Black Lives Matter?
Yes,
was it?
They were actually advocating. I forgot who life was taken that they were advocating for. I think something had happened here, and it was during my freshman year, so I don't really know too much, but I just remember it was somebody, it was a young man, I think, that happened here, and they said something about they having a march, and they were just saying, come out. It was a peaceful protest march or something.
And how do you think that kind of influenced the political climate of the campus when that happened? Did you see, I know you said that you were a freshman, so you probably didn't see what the climate was prior to that event happening.
Mm-hmm.
But was there any type of like the ending result of that particular march? Or
I would say it wasn't no ending that I could see personally. I know that our students was a little bit upset, but I don't think I've seen anything that would raise his eye or anything.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And do you still see a remnant of political activism on the campus as a student here?
Oh, yes. We do have an NAACP here on campus. They are very active in the community. I would say a big shout out is to Cam, who is the president over that over in that organization. He's always speaking out and standing up for our students, and just making sure that our students are going to be good no matter what happens or no matter how administration moves. So, yeah, we have that here at this campus.
And are you involved in any of those activism organizations? Or
I am not an official member. Do I go to the meetings? Yes, but I'm not an official member.
Yeah, I think it's important to at least be able to support, even if you aren't, as active as other people are.
Right.
Kind of speaks to that legacy of what the NAACP is really standing there for. Thank you for that. So Moving on a bit, you talked about mentorship. Outside of Mr. Mercer, is there anybody else at the station who has been influential to your show or just what you're learning here?
Honestly, I would say the whole media team here. I would say Miss Maya Smith, Mabel Smith, and Miss Maya. They are very hands on with us when it comes down to video recordings, promoting stuff, just making sure that our voices and stuff sound good, and like making sure our presentation on camera is up to par. So I would just say the whole WRVS team and the radio station, from the radio station to the TV station, is just one big small community, and we're all for each other here.
How important is that to you to have those people to be able to mentor you, especially if you don't have like a background coming in radio?
It's very important because I feel like just because this is not something that I am going to school for, I'm also getting that here. So just learning how to edit a 5-part video, that could just set you up with so much volume. So it's just a lot of wisdom getting poured into me and some of the other students that just makes coming here just so good.
So how would you describe what you've done here at the radio station being in alignment of what the WRVS's mission is for the community?
I would say we hold ourselves as being the community voice, and I see us in the community being a voice for the community as plain as day.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure that you found yourself that you are a part of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So what would you consider to be one of your biggest accomplishments? I mean, I know you're still involved in the radio station and will be for another year, but so far, what do you believe is one of the greatest accomplishments you've made at the station? And if you can also speak to what it is that you want to achieve while you continue being at the station.
I would say one of my greatest accomplishments has just been learning how to give interviews correctly, or I would say just naturally giving an interview to anyone, which as far as celebrities, regular person, or just anybody. That really, for me, that's my pivotal point. That's my trophy, because I sometimes find it hard to have conversations, whether that's being political, religious, or just like mental. I just find it hard just talking to somebody that I just met on that level. So that was like one of my greatest achievements when I did my first interview. What I would like to, where I would see me going as far as past the radio station, and when I do graduate, is just being not a motivational speaker, but I really want to be open to coming on different shows or podcasts and just being able to talk to young women, little black girls, even some of the guys too. Like just being able to use what I have been through and my experiences just to mentor them.
And how would you describe the proper way of interviewing someone that you've learned here? Like, what do you consider the proper way to be?
I consider the proper way is a comfortable way. Like, yes, I have my points that I want to talk about, but I want everything to naturally flow organically, so it could be a genuine conversation. So genuinely trying to understand and learn that person and just feel what they have been through, and that representation to what they're talking about and how they're talking about it is going to make more sense to me, and it's also going to give me a little bit backing of whatever I have going on, because sometimes people talk and they don't realize they're hitting points in your life that you didn't even know needed to be hit. So it's things that be said that they didn't know they needed to say that, and you didn't know you needed to hear it. And I just feel like that, to me, is the proper way how to give an interview. Not directly Q&A, because I feel like that's not personal, and I'm a very personal person.
Absolutely. So as a student on their personality, have you been able to interview anyone that you're kind of like, I'm shocked or like very excited to be able to interview this person at all?
I haven't gotten my shock person. My first interview was with Miss Kirsette Michelle. She was just very humble and wise, just how she talked, and she hit on we should be working on our branding now because that's what they did then, and that really spoke to me because I was like, oh, okay, I need to get on this now. Like, yeah, we playing around, we have a lot going on with school and stuff, but I think that's something that's very important for our students, especially our Black students here, to understand that they need to start working on themselves and working on where they see themselves at after graduation so they can be prepared for it and so that they can make those connections and stuff for it.
Perfect, thank you. And was it can you tell me who Chrisette Michelle is if I didn't know who she was?
So she is the singer behind a couple of Forevers. I know that's a household staple. That is Miss Chrisette Michelle, and she's also working on a couple of other projects that I cannot mention.
No problem, but I'm pretty sure that was a very exciting interview to.
It was. She was very easy to talk to. Yeah, the nerves flew out the window.
Perfect. So, have a couple more questions for you before we end the interview. I know that you said that with your show, usually it's like R&B based, which is what the station is known for, but I know that there is a connection with jazz music.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any connections to jazz music, or are you like interested in that type of genre at all?
My jazz notebook, I would say, it goes for me to have a calm mind. So I find myself really listening to jazz music whenever I'm stressed out or I'm overwhelmed. It really just calms me out and keep me zen so I can keep on doing my work. But other than that, I don't really have a strong connection to it. I really love any genre of music, really, as long as I have a good beat and I'm with it.
Good. So let's see. Being that we are doing this project and it is based off of HBCU radio preservation, can you tell me the importance in your own words of why it's relevant for HBCU radio to be preserved, and especially as you being a student and working here?
I would say for a general purpose, anything should be preserved because it keeps a guideline of the history. For a radio station at a HBCU, I feel like that's a major thing because we don't have that many voices out there. Like we were talking earlier about having a voice in the community. So just knowing that that's here and that's something that we could look at over time and see that the growth is there is just good to have, not even just for us as a radio station, but good as a HBCU radio station community so we can know what we need to work on or what can we do differently, or oh, they're doing this here, they did this in 2024, okay, well let's try this now in 2025 and see how this could work out for us in case if a station is going through a pivotal point. So I just feel like that's why it's very important.
Absolutely. And is radio something that you are looking into pursuing possibly at some point in the future?
I think I might be looking at leaning toward going deeper into it, especially just being a hostess. I know that's something I have to build myself up to doing, but I would definitely be very grateful if someone presents me with an opportunity to be in the radio industry.
Absolutely. And so for those who come after you, what type of advice would you give them for, being a student at a HBCU campus working in HBCU radio?
I would say be yourself. Know that, yes, you're talking to the masses. You're also talking to your family at your station. You don't have to be scared to get on air. Everybody mess up. It's okay. You can laugh it off and just make sure their music is still on so there's no dead air. But other than that, just really be yourself. Know that this is an outlet, not just for you to just speak on people, but it's also an outlet for you to introduce yourself to the people. And yeah, that's what I would tell somebody coming in.
Thank you. So, is there anything else that was not mentioned in this interview that you want to add before we close, or anyone you want to shout out again that has been influential throughout your process here at WRVS?
I would not like to shout out anybody, but I just want everybody to know that from the radio station to the TV station that we have here on Elizabeth City State University campus. We are the voice in the faces behind WRVS 89.9, and we are a community here. That's all.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Ms. MarQKieta Augustine, for participating in this interview. It was very wonderful talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
having me.
Of course. Thank you.